and welcome to an analysis of the creation of Adam. I'm going to stop using that voice now because it's just going to get annoying after a while. So, hello, welcome to the first video on my channel. A lot of them are going to be fitness-based, poetry, English literature, philosophy, psychology, all that type of deal. But today we're taking a look at now painting. The title of this painting is The Creation of Adam. It was painted by Michelangelo somewhere within 1508 and 1512, and it depicts the biblical creation narrative that we see in the book of Genesis, in which God gives life to Adam. I have the Bible here, and it specifically says, "The Lord God formed man out of the clay of the ground and blew into his nostrils the breath of life, and so man became a living being." Whether or not it depicts the actual, what the Bible actually says, is irrelevant. Michelangelo was an artist, and it is his interpretation of this story. To boil it down, Michelangelo was a dude who lived a long time ago who, I don't know, he kind of liked painting, I suppose. He only made a few of them. So let's dive into what we may think some of the meaning is. So here we have on the left, we have who we can only assume is Adam. An interesting point that I read was Adam's body would be kind of unachievable by any male standards today. The average man doesn't really look like this, which is why I think he's talking about the idea of man, and that could be man, woman. He's talking about mankind in general. So it's this idealized picture of Adam in his perfect form. Almost, I'm not sure the times, but there's connections there to be made with the Vitruvian Man by Leonardo da Vinci. And in it we see Adam, who is bound to the earth. And it is the earth that we see. We see some vegetation, we have water, the sky above, or the dome, as they call it in particular in Genesis. And Adam is laying down rather lazily. He's just chilling here. He's just like, what's the crack? Any banter? No. And he's laying down here, and there's really two schools of thought that I've come across on it. Either he's waiting to receive the essence of life from God, so he has yet to receive it. Personally, my view on this, I think it almost depicts some sort of metaphysical barrier being here between God and man. If we take a look at the connection here, God is making much more of an effort in order to touch Adam, and the key point is that, if we zoom closer, the key point is that they're not touching. And what can that symbolize in relation to, we already know that, like Michelangelo had, he had an in-depth knowledge of human anatomy, establishing this connection almost in the center of the piece. And what a lot of people think is that this is extremely relevant to a synapse or synaptic cleft, in which chemicals and neurotransmitters pass across, and it's this central point where all of this connects. And if you turn just a photo of a synapse to the left and then put it up, I'll try to do that here. If we do that, put them side by side, then maybe you can see the correlation. But personally, my critique on this, it again, it's just a theory. You could look at this from a few perspectives. I think Michelangelo could be trying to say that God is something beyond our understanding, in that he is what our brains are able to conceive him as, and that he is actually this omnipotent force that we couldn't comprehend in the slightest, or that God, in fact, is made in the brain. So, if not for giving us the gift of consciousness here, which again could be seen as, which is another theory of what could be going on here. As God gives us the gift of consciousness, he gives us the ability to identify him and to conceive of him, which is quite interesting. I think, again, you could look at this from an atheist perspective or an agnostic perspective, and say maybe Michelangelo was trying to say that God is created by the brain, and that it is rather Adam that creates God. God, or Michelangelo's depiction of him, he's quite an old geez. Like, he's pretty, he's got the beard going on from, he's rocking the hair. He's depicted him to be slightly older, which we know a lot of artists have done in the past, and we see him stretching out here with a lot more force than Adam. Like, Adam's wrist is kind of limp, like, oh yeah, sure, give me it if you want, like, and then God's like pure stretching, going for this, and I think there can be a connection there made with the element and role of God in today's modern life. There is a bit of disparity there. There's a bit of a disconnection, and even today, I think that idea still holds up. There's no coincidence that Michelangelo has Adam here on the earth. It is his dominion, as they say in Genesis, and God, on the right hand side, is encased in what seems to be some sort of floating red structure, and it's got like not even tiles, like silk robes and some. It's almost like his garment, but it's it's quite hard to pinpoint. And luckily enough, a physician from Indiana noticed that this red thing that God is on it's anatomically correct, in that it outlines the brain perfectly. And another interesting thing to note here is the inclusion of a navel, which is the site of the umbilical cord, or in anatomy it's called the umbilicus. It's a site of attachment for all placental, to the placenta. The umbilical cord attaches there. And in this, I think Michelangelo is almost not making a mockery. That would be the wrong way to phrase that. But it's his own commentary on the idea of the creation story. If God had created Adam purely without a woman, having a navel insinuates that you have come from a woman. Michelangelo almost laughs at that idea, and we know, of course, that he had a horrible relationship with, he didn't have a really, and we know, of course, that he had a fond disliking of Pope Julius, and maybe this was just one of the ways that he presented that. And what better way to do it than put it on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel? We know that there are many other, in several other scenes in the book of Genesis and the Bible that he has hidden that you wouldn't be able to see in terms of children poking their thumb through their forefinger and their middle finger, which back then which is directly behind Pope Julius, which back then was an exclamatory, some sort of remark to basically say, would you
shut your fucking mouth!
No problem, John.
Shut the fuck up, you cunt! Shut it!
There are many schools of thought, but I thought this was an interesting discussion. If you've got anything to bring up, please leave a comment, leave a like. If you want to subscribe, do so. It's free. And yeah, thank you very much for listening, and peace out.